Sergeant and Mrs. Smith, you're going to love this house.
Is that a tub in the kitchen?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
All new Dr. Phil today.
Unless you're going to hire a hitman, I'm going to be there.
Can a wedding tear a family apart?
This future mother-in-law is banned from the wedding.
I don't have words for how this makes me feel.
Disinvited by the bride-to-be.
I bring them all together on this stage. You don't want to miss this.
I'm his mother. You're going to be his wife. That is two separate things. He has enough love to love both of us.
And the gloves are off.
Unlike you, I do try to do the right thing. Let me finish before you open your mouth.
Hold on. That means stop talking.
Now it's war.
I'm sorry,
This is the first scene I've ever made with you guys, and hey, I'm going to give it all I've got.
Coming up. Let's do it. I want you to get excited about your life.
Here we go, in 10.
Stand by, camera 6. If it's happening now, we're going to deal with it now.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Stand by A and roll A. Check in.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Thank you very much. Today we're going to hear the story of a wedding that has torn a family apart. Now, it's the bride-to-be versus the future mother-in-law. That ain't never good, okay? They're fighting before they're even related. Now, let me tell you, the wedding day isn't even here yet, and this situation is already very ugly. The best man has resigned. The aunt has disowned the groom. And the wedding planner is on alert to call the police if the mother-in-law even shows up. And she's threatened to do just that. She says, I'm coming. I'm coming. So here's the story. Take a look.
My future mother-in-law is insane. I think she's bipolar.
I don't like Michelle. She is very disrespectful to me, mean, and it doesn't want to share my son with me. We were very close. It wasn't just a mother-son. We were buddies.
My mom acts like we were best friends, but that's just not the way it was.
I think her relationship with him is inappropriate and sick. She's told him on the phone, tell her you love me. It got to the point where I couldn't take her anymore. She's not invited to the wedding.
I totally support Michelle. We made the decision together, and I stand by it.
I was so angry, I could not see. I called the two of them. I told him he was marrying a raving bitch.
The phone call got really ugly.
She called me a bitch, told me I was cold-hearted.
The very first thing she said was, why do you want to come to the wedding? I went, Michelle, because he's my son, and because you don't want me there, and I'm not letting you win this battle.
Wow. Okay, now you're definitely not coming.
The gloves are off because I was insane.
She still threatens that she's going to show up and we can't stop her from coming.
I said, unless you're hiring a hitman, if I decide to come to your wedding, I'll be there. Ooh, they took this as a threat.
I have all the security handled. This is the photo that Michelle gave me to make sure that Jane does not get into the facility. Hopefully it doesn't come to the point where we're going to have to call 911.
Michelle doesn't think she's being manipulative, but here's an example of some of the things she's written to me. When I have children, they will never know you. You will not be contacted on holidays. You're never going to break us up. I'm not jealous of you, you stupid bitch.
The way Jane treats my daughters is unacceptable. Her comments, they're mean. They're spiteful, almost hateful.
I hate her for what she's done to Janie, and I hate him for what he's allowing her to do to Janie.
Michelle's not manipulating me. I make my own decisions, and I stand by them.
Here will be my family and friends. Here, Nana Jay's family is coming.
I think she's a stark, raving bitch.
Jane called everybody and wanted them to still go to the wedding because she was still concerned about Jay. I couldn't do that. I'd be turning my back on Jane.
I had already resigned my position as best man. Anybody who lets someone treat their mother like that is not worth my time.
Even if I had done something awful, where does she get off telling me what kind of a relationship I should have with my son?
No matter what Dr. Phil says, she's not coming. I don't care if Jesus himself came down and said, Michelle, if you don't invite her, you're going to hell. I will go down in flames.
Well, other than that, how do y'all? How did this run off in the ditch so bad? Do you have an answer for that? What happened?
The very first time I met her, she says, what are you doing with somebody who's got a kid? You always said you didn't want kids.
That's a lie. That is a lie, Michelle.
Ask him when he comes out.
If you didn't say things that agitated the situation, then what did happen? What did she do that got you so agitated?
Has told me things like I have a sick and inappropriate relationship with my son.
Do you?
No. No.
You admit that you have told Michelle, shut up, you're petty, childish, brat, bitch, and a cold-hearted bitch.
After
I have a lot
was
of that in writing,
uninvited.
and it's what you said to our producers.
After I was uninvited to the wedding, that is correct.
Okay. Did you tell your son, I'm not going to let that little bitch win. You're marrying a raving bitch.
I said, you're marrying a raving bitch. I never said, that's Michelle's words.
No, you said it, because that's when I walked out of the room. It was when I walked out of the room that she said, I'm not going to let that little win.
I said to you directly, I will not let you win this battle.
Ask him when he comes out.
Well, he's going to say whatever you say.
Okay, you did say you're going to have to hire a hitman or security or something to keep me away. I'm coming.
When they told me that I was not welcome at the wedding, I said, just watch whether I show up. Unless you're going to hire a hitman or bouncers, I'll decide whether I'm going to be there. That was said in anger, Dr. Phil. Obviously, I am not coming to the wedding if they don't want me there.
Did you tell your son you sold your soul to the devil?
No, I said, this is going to, what goes around comes around. This is going to come back to bite you viciously.
When you do see him, do you hang on to him for like 5 minutes and cry?
No, I don't, but that's what she thinks I do.
Okay, does she?
Yeah.
Okay, well, who's right and who's wrong here? I mean, are you contributing to the problem?
I have admitted that letting her get a response and going through the email war.
Get a response? A response? Who has been attacking me since the middle of May, Michelle?
You're going to get a response from me when you say things. She tells me.
I said nothing. I wrote you no emails. There was no contact. I told my son on the 15th of May, when he called me yet again to say, Michelle's upset, we're upset, there's still things that you're doing that we don't like, but he couldn't ever really tell me what those things were. Let me finish, please.
Over and over.
Let me finish, please, and then you will have a chance to tell me what I've done wrong. Because so far, you guys haven't been able to tell me what I've done wrong, except to love my son and to try to help you guys with the wedding. Who made the aisle decorations, Michelle?
We wanted to include you in something. Do you think I cared if you made them or not?
I know that you didn't care now. But I didn't know that for a long time. I didn't know that you didn't like me.
You said you didn't know what it is they say you've done wrong.
We've told her.
I just went through a list. I mean, I think, at least on the short list, would shut up, you petty, childish brat bitch would kind of be on the list.
Dr. Phil, that was after they uninvited me to the wedding. We had this huge meltdown phone call. It was one occasion. That was it.
Excuse me. Before it got to the point where we decided we didn't want her at the wedding, she wanted to talk to me. I went on the phone. I said, if you yell, call me names, blame me for things, I'm hanging up. And she said, what do I need to do? I said, 2 things. I don't even want an apology from you. I want you to acknowledge that you have said and done inappropriate things. Second, stop blaming me for wrecking your relationship. I didn't wreck your relationship.
And what did I say about that?
You said no. You said,
no.
I feel I haven't said anything inappropriate, and I absolutely 110% feel that you have wrecked my relationship. So I said, okay, conversation is over.
You're very, very good
to
at twisting words. What I said to you was, here's exactly what I said. I should not have told you that you were trying to ruin my relationship with my son. However, listen, however, that's exactly what has happened.
Did you write to her, so you want a blog to read, bitch? I pity you. Check into a hospital. You're a bitch. You'll never know my children. You're nothing to us. We disown you. Get a life.
That was after the threatening me of coming to the
But you did say that to your husband's mother.
No, I wrote that on a blog that I've told her numerous times. Don't read. If you want something to read, I knew that she was going on my page. Fine, you want to look and snoop and find something you might not.
Of course, she
like
sent
what
me
you
a
read.
link to her MySpace to be her friend on MySpace so that I could read
You
this
had
stuff.
your page set up way before that.
Is that helping?
By then, I had tried so many times. We were both just done.
All right, coming up, Jane hasn't seen her son, Jay, in 4 months. Now, Jay says that she better not try to hug him when she does. We'll meet the groom when we come back.
When we're all in the same room together on the show, my whole play as if she's the victim in this whole thing.
I certainly have to put some blame on my son. He owes me the biggest apology that he can possibly come up with.
Across this great country, from coast to coast, you've told me about the crossroads we're facing. That's exactly why I wrote We've Got Issues, How You Can Stand Strong for America's Soul and Sanity. This book isn't just a conversation starter. It's a roadmap for standing strong in the face of adversity, for embracing our core values when they're needed most. We're talking about real strategies for real people dealing with real issues, from navigating the complexities of today's polarized world to fortifying our families. And I set forth in the book 10 principles that I think are critical for a healthy society. This is not about politics. I'm not a politician, don't want to be a politician, don't know enough about politics to talk about it. But I talk about every angle of life as we know it, from family and relationships to the burning issues that are shaping our world today. We've got issues, how you can stand strong for America's soul and sanity. And you'll find it anywhere books are sold. It's about time we start addressing what truly matters.
Tankinis, bikinis, monokinis. Walmart is the best kept secret for stylish summer swimwear. Make a splash with hot summer essentials like beach bags, sandals, and more. Find your style at Walmart.
I haven't seen my son for 4 months.
My mom acts like a clingy ex-girlfriend.
I don't know how I'm going to feel when I see him. I think it's going to be very hard for me to even speak.
I'm hoping she won't be a big emotional wreck when we first walk out on stage and try to be all over me.
Well, we're continuing the story of a bride-to-be and a future mother-in-law who are at war over whether or not the future mother-in-law should be allowed to attend the wedding. Now, Jay is the groom-to-be and cannot show his face today because of what he does for a living. He and his mother have not seen each other in 4 months. What's going on here?
If I can, before we go into this, I was backstage watching this last segment before the break, and there was a lot of stuff that was misplaced in the timeline of events that were described. It's making it sound as if one day we just woke up and said, hey, we're not going to invite my mom to the wedding.
And I understand what you're saying, and I totally get that. I don't really care when something was said. What I care is what was said. When these two are calling each other bitches and, to me, that is not a timing issue. The fact that it's going on is highly destructive. What do you want to say?
I would like to say that I have already admitted to mistakes that I have made to both of you. I have apologized for things that I have said or done, none of which were very horrendous. There was a time when you called me on the phone, and what did you say? Please, you have to apologize to Michelle. She's so upset. I can't take it anymore. I said, I'm upset too. But okay, we'll talk to her on the phone. I can't talk to her on the phone, but I'll send her an email. I sent an email apology saying I'm sorry for the upset. They rejected it.
Her apologies are, I'm sorry you took it that way. I'm sorry you twisted my words. They're never just an, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it. Sorry is used, but that's not an apology.
You know about insincere apologies, right? Because you've made some insincere apologies too, right? I mean, didn't you have one on your website? Can I have that MySpace page? This is the MySpace page, and this is your mother-in-law, and that's a picture of the Wicked Witch of the West.
That was after the wedding stuff, yes.
Yeah. And you say, "We're sorry that we offended you. Please accept this sincere apology. Now, off and leave us alone."
This was after numerous times of both of us telling her, stop looking at our page. Stop. I put that exactly for this point so we could prove she still does it.
You know, I just kind of feel like common sense needs to make a comeback. You know?
I did do it.
There's nothing that your future mother-in-law can say, there's nothing that your mother can say that justifies things that y'all have said and done. It doesn't justify it. There's nothing that they can say that justifies things that you have said and done to them. This has just gone into a meltdown.
It's been a back and forth thing.
But I mean, at some point you got. I mean, because you say
a nothing since the middle of May. A nothing. I have not contacted you guys. She has been on a campaign of hate mail ever since the middle of May, and you know it.
Okay, you're shaking your head no, but I've got a list of text messages here in quotes where you have written to her, "You're pathetic. You'll never be part of Jay's life because I'm not going anywhere. If you don't want me to respond, leave my name out of your mouth. I'm not jealous, you stupid bitch. You no longer exist to us."
She tells me all the time, well, you're just jealous of me. No, I'm not. And
yes, you are.
Please.
You absolutely are. What is the reason for you to act the way you've been acting? There is no other reason. You're in competition, which is absolutely ridiculous. I'm his mother. You're going to be his wife. That is two separate things. He has enough love in him, Michelle, to love both of us. I'm sorry.
About the drama.
Wow.
Yeah, you should say wow.
Oh my God.
Let me talk.
Don't you
Let
dare
me talk.
say anything.
This is along the lines of stuff you have said, how upset you get directly at her. When I'm trying to talk to you, you bypass me and go straight into her.
Oh, really?
Now, if you just let me talk, I'm perfectly calm all the time.
Yep.
I've never gotten upset with you on the phone. I've always tried to de-escalate the situation.
That is correct.
Thank you. So let me do that now.
Try.
After the break, you're going to do that. This story goes beyond just the bride and mother-in-law. The entire family is divided over this. Jay's aunt has disowned him. His cousin now refuses to be the best man. We're going to talk to them. We come back, and we're going to let Jay say exactly what he wanted to say. We'll be right back.
The last thing I want to do is be part of the wedding where everybody's going to be around all that crap.
I'm not going to plead with my family to come to the wedding. That's their choice.
Blood is thicker than water. This is my sister that you have abused for 6 months, and now you want me going to the wedding. That's not happening.
All right, we're talking about a wedding that is literally tearing a family apart. Jane is the future mother-in-law who has been disinvited from her son Jay's wedding. So because Jane isn't allowed to attend the nuptials, her sister Gail has disowned Jay. Her nephew Jesse refuses to be best man, and her brother-in-law Dave says he will not step foot anywhere near it.
Michelle seems like a hateful bitch. Just venom all the time.
I don't know the full workings of her little mind. Michelle has shown an incredible lack of respect, and Jay has gone right along with that.
I had already resigned my position as best man. The last thing I want to do is be part of the wedding where everybody's going to be around all that crap.
I'm not going to plead with my family to come to the wedding. That's their choice, and I'll have to deal with it.
Jay is not stepping in and telling Michelle, this is my mom. He doesn't have the balls to do it, that's why. He's willing to sacrifice his mother to avoid offending Michelle.
I don't think that Jay knows what he's getting into marrying this girl.
Michelle had sent Jane things like, you're never going to be in our life, you're not going to even see our grandchildren, we want you to stay out of our lives.
Well, why does she say these things and why does she do these things? I said, Janie, she's evil.
Okay, Gail, you've joined us, and I want to hear your perspective on this in a minute, but I cut you off right before the break, so I want to hear what you had to say.
She's never once been able to come and just say, you know what, I'm really sorry I said that. her whole thing has been, well, I didn't mean it to come off that way. You took
I
it
have
wrong.
email
Let me
apologies.
finish. Let me finish. I didn't interrupt you. Let me finish. The whole thing has been, I was either mad, I didn't mean it to come off that way, you took it the wrong way, you're sensitive. She's told us that she's jealous of my relationship with Michelle.
You are so lying.
Let me finish. I have not interrupted you once. Please. She has said that on the phone. It's always been a direct attack at her and that I'm just her little puppet.
Gail, what do you want to say? What do you think's going on here?
I can't even look at him. He is not even my nephew.
He's not
He is like a totally different person. And yet he says that
Is there anybody here that's trying to calm the situation down? This is a quote from you.
We have.
This is a quote from you. Michelle is a bitch. Michelle seems like a hateful bitch. Nobody acts like that, like Michelle, unless you're a stark, raving bitch.
Nobody acts like that.
Did you? That wasn't the question. The question was, did you say that?
I did say that. Yes, to the producers. I never said that to her.
But I mean, does anybody get that this whole thing, that everybody is getting in the gutter with this and name calling?
We're getting in the gutter with them.
Why? You are an adult.
Because we've given up.
When the hate mail just keeps coming day after day, and sometimes more than one in a day.
I turned my back on it. I tried not to respond, and it just keeps coming, and it just keeps coming. The last one was on the 25th of August after you'd been told not to contact me because, listen,
I was told
you were
after
told
that not to contact you anymore.
to contact
After I sent
me.
that, they told me not to.
Do you know
contact
why
you.
she sent me that email? Because I forwarded 2 pieces of mail that came to my house for my son. I put them in an envelope. I debated, shall I send this return to sender?
We told her not to send anything to our house.
Or shall I send it
Do
to
not
him?
send a package.
She sends me a hate mail because I forwarded mail to my son. I debated for 2 weeks on what would be the right thing to do, Michelle. Unlike you, I do try to do the right thing. And I ultimately decided it should go to my son.
She marked on the envelope, she crossed his name out, put return to sender like she had every intention to send it back where it came from.
I was going to.
But then decided to put it in an envelope. And I think the only reason she did it was to let her presence still be known. I'm still here. I'm still going to send stuff.
All right. Now, we're about to meet the mother of the bride, Shannon, who says she agrees with her daughter that Jane should not want to have a weird and unhealthy relationship with her son. Take a look.
I'm not really looking forward to having Jane as an in-law now, after all the horrible things that she said about Michelle.
I don't think Shannon is able to put herself into my shoes.
I see Jane as an overly involved mother-in-law.
My only child is getting married. It's huge.
Jane sent like a 7-page email. She started with your daughter's turning my son into a puppet. Jane's just not nice to Michelle, and I don't like it.
If I had Michelle figured out, it's almost like it's a game. How mean can you be? How low can you go?
Jane does the little jabs and plays the reaction game. When Michelle got her wedding ring, I think Jane was jealous.
I sent him the link, and I said, you know, there's some rings on here I think you might be interested in for Michelle. And by the way, while you're there, buy me this.
Jane's really gone out of her way to sabotage their relationship. She's point blank asked them, have you guys gotten your first fight yet? It almost makes her sick to see the two of them as happy. I'm comfortable being the only mom at the wedding. Boy, if she didn't like me before, she's really not gonna like me now.
Okay, Shannon, why do you say that you think this relationship is unhealthy?
I just think she's not ready to let go of, let it evolve to the next level.
And of course, the reason she thinks that is because she's listening to her daughter.
Well, wouldn't you expect?
No, I mean, as a mother, you know how your relationship evolves.
Would you expect her to not support her daughter?
No.
Would you support your children?
I would not support my child if he was writing things like that to his future mother.
If you believed your child, then of course you would support them. I mean,
Not if I saw how he was writing.
I don't know. I mean, have you learned anything here today about what they've been saying and writing?
Well, I've known. I talk to them quite often, so I kind of know.
Have you told her you shouldn't be writing that stuff? It's
well, I
don't
told her
care what she
just
does?
yeah, let it go, let it go, let it go, and until they couldn't let it go anymore, and they said this is just too much. We can't let it go.
Okay, but you're here supporting Jane.
Yes, I am.
And she has written some scorching emails this direction. What do you say about that?
I have.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. We have copies of those.
In response to her, yes.
Not always in response.
But I mean, don't be self-righteous about it. You say, I have? Are you kidding me?
Well,
I've got a whole notebook of them. I've got like 70 or 80 pages of them that I can read if I need to.
Like I already said, I have already admitted up, down, and sideways to every single solitary thing that I have said that they haven't liked, to things that they've misconstrued. I mean, I've talked on the phone to you guys.
And she has written in response. Who started the email?
Okay, but I mean, that's like two kids on the playground. He started it. No, she started it. He started it. She started it.
It
It's like 5-year-old kids.
Dr. Kell, after the back and forth between the two of us, we would always calm down, apologize, everything is fine. Then it would start up again.
Because you would do something
Since
else again.
the middle of May, I told my son, when he called me to complain, I said the only thing further I know to do is to just stay out of your life because I can't do anything right with you guys.
So what you're saying is because of what the other person has done, that you're right and you're justified. But my question is, how's it working for you?
It's not working at all. I have no
you are
relationship with
totally
my son.
fractured here. Hold on. We got to take a break. Coming up, I'm going to talk to David and Jesse. I'm going to talk to the wedding planner. I'm going to try to find out if there's anybody here that has a different perspective on this when we come back.
This episode is brought to you by Experian. Are you paying for subscriptions you don't use but can't find the time or energy to cancel them? Experian could cancel unwanted subscriptions for you, saving you an average of $270 per year and plenty of time. Download the Experian app. Results will vary. Not all subscriptions are eligible. Savings are not guaranteed. Paid membership with connected payment account required.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
Jay and Michelle say that his mother is not allowed to attend their wedding. The future mother-in-law, Jane, has said unless they hire a hitman, they cannot stop her because she's not going to be controlled in that way. Best man, what do you have to say about this? This is Jesse. You were going to be the best man in this, right?
Yeah.
And you bailed.
Yeah. He can marry whoever he wants. But what he can't do is let somebody treat his mother. It could be anybody. Let somebody treat your mother like that. That's it. I don't need to do it.
With that being said, it goes both ways. I can't allow her to treat her the way she has.
It is so over the top on your guys' side.
It wasn't like we sat there and schemed we don't like her, let's send her nasty emails. It wasn't
Michelle,
like
maybe
that.
you could tell me, not Dr. Phil, tell me what possessed you to start writing to me the day after I had the phone conversation with my son. Let me finish before you open your mouth.
I'm sorry, I'm
This is the first time I've ever talked to you this way, Michelle, and I have every right to do so.
Definitely not. No, it's not the first time.
And I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to take it.
Because I'm furious with you, too.
We're not children.
See, she treats us like we're children.
That's why she's not coming to the wedding.
Yeah, because I make scenes. This is the first scene I've ever made with you guys, and hey, I'm going to give it all I've got.
Because we don't live next to each other.
All right, hold on. Isn't the fact that you really don't support this union?
No, I do not.
And people that go to weddings are there to support the union, right?
Right. But up until all this happened, I did support.
Okay, but you don't now.
No. Why would I want my son to marry someone that's got the hatred and viciousness that she does? When she gets done with me, she's going to turn it on him.
Okay.
I don't want that for him.
You don't know Michelle.
Yeah, she's hung out with her maybe twice, 3 times.
I don't really know her either.
You guys don't.
All I know is the emails. And what I know of her, I don't want to know her any better than I know her right now.
I've never been around anyone that talks and acts the way she does.
Likewise to you.
You were not raised like this.
Likewise to you.
All right, hold on. That means stop talking. David, what do you want to say?
They had a good relationship. They were close. Christmases together. I mean, this is not the way they grew up together.
Like Michelle to think because it makes her happier.
Please, just calm down.
I am not calm. I should be calm. I'm not going to my son's wedding. My son has cut me off.
It's de-escalating a situation when you can't control yourself and stop freaking out.
I have a right to be freaked out.
I'm shaking backstage because I got to deal with this. I'm holding my composure, calm. Perfectly fine.
I'd like to see some emotion out of you.
Yeah, really.
Well, so we're going to take a break. You know, the question is this going to stay in meltdown? Is Jane going to go to the wedding, not go to the wedding? I'm going to ask everybody to answer a question and to do something for me when we come back.
To purchase tapes or transcripts of your favorite Dr. Phil show, call 866-4-DR-Phil.
I've been there for every important event in his life.
There's absolutely nothing she could do to come to the wedding.
My son had already picked a song out for us to dance to.
She needs to get over it.
We're talking to a family that is sadly at war. The war is over whether or not the mother of the groom should be allowed to attend her only son's wedding. At this point, you're very close-minded about this, right?
But not just because I don't like her. It's because every time we've had contact, she said something to upset me, said something I thought was rude, or...
I've never been rude to you.
She told me.
Never.
If I say...
Have I ever been rude to you when we've been together, Michelle? Absolutely not. I'm rude to you now. That's how I feel about you now.
Can I go back to why she's not coming? She told me, if I say something to upset you that day or rude to you, oh, well, ignore me. It's not just your day.
What?
Yes, you did say that. Say it. Yes, you did.
Oh God, you are such a liar, Michelle.
Every time we call her on something, she backtracks.
Absolutely, because he says the same thing that she does.
And she says that I'm whipped. She's told me to my
Do you know
on the
how
phone,
happy you
I'm whipped by Michelle.
We talked in the puppet strings.
Oh, I'm sure you're very happy.
You're closed-minded about this because you said you don't care what I say. If I said that she should come to the wedding, you ain't doing it. You said if Jesus Christ told you, you would burn in hell before you would let her come to the wedding.
I don't want to look out into all the people and all of our guests and see her moping. I don't want to see her going, oh, okay, everything's fine. It's fake. There's no reason at this point she should want to be there.
You are, my dear.
Is there not a point to be considered here that you would not want people in your wedding that you know are sitting out there seething at you
Absolutely.
And thinking, are you evil or just stupid?
But that's what I keep
You have
getting back to.
serious screwed up issues and should be ashamed of yourself. Put me in the front row.
After I was uninvited.
Well, but that is where you are now. I mean, I guess.
Of course, that's where I am. I have been. You know what? Your producers asked me repeatedly, how does this make you feel? And I can't tell you the number of times I said, I don't have words for how this makes me feel. But I have to function. Life goes on. So I have replaced the pain, the devastation with anger. And I am now furious with both of them because that's the only way I know how to deal with it now.
Is there anything these two could do that would take you out of the pain you're in?
Absolutely.
What?
All my son has ever had to do is pick up the phone and say, Mom, I'm sorry. We never meant to hurt you.
They have never
You could have gotten on a plane and come down and said, Mom, things aren't working with you and Michelle. What can we do to figure this out?
We got to take a break. We'll be right back. We're continuing the story of a family that is really torn apart over a relationship, an upcoming wedding. Jay and Michelle say that they're open to having a relationship with Jane in the future as long as she stops acting like a jealous ex-girlfriend and starts acting like a mother. Now, I have a question for you, and only for you. I don't want your view, I don't want yours, and I don't want you interrupted. What is it that you think you're going to win in this power play?
I don't think I'm going to win anything besides not having to.
Oh, no, that's not true. You don't do things that don't work. You don't move towards what you don't want. You move towards what you do want. What do you think you're winning in this?
Not having to constantly have drama with her. If we just don't have contact with her, every time we cut it off, we're just fine. We live our happy family and...
Okay, I got you. Have you made an assessment of the cost of that strategy?
There has been nights and nights where I've cried to him and saying, if I just shut my mouth and don't let her upset me, I don't want to put you in this position. And he is okay with it. He doesn't want it either. And she's made comments where...
I don't want to hear about her comments. You want to talk about her, and I'm wanting to talk about you. You like to point the finger. You like to point the finger. This is about you. I want to know if you believe that there is a cost to your strategy here.
The cost would be him not having anything to do with his family. She has said that she's going to...
I don't want to talk about her.
I'm saying about...
I don't want to talk about her. I want to talk about you.
We're protecting our future because of things being said. I'm always going to have an opinion where you live. I'm going to have a say in what you do, and we don't want that.
I'm much older than you. I've been married 31 years, okay? I've been through this. Have you done an assessment of where things will be the day she drops dead? And you now have a history you cannot rewrite. You may think you know how you would feel, but you don't know how you feel. Robin has buried both of her parents. I've buried my father. You haven't made that assessment properly, because if you had, you wouldn't even almost do what you're doing. Now, listen, she says, you know, she sits here like, I just don't know why they would be upset with me. I just don't. And then just almost has to come across here and choke the life out of you. She's so mad, she's shaking and trembling. You're pointing fingers. Everybody is self-righteous. Ah, rah, 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 I'm right, I'm right. I've never seen such a bunch of right fighters in my whole life. So I have no doubt. I have no doubt that she could piss off a statue. I mean, you can get mad. Do you agree with that? Do you acknowledge that? So I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. But at some point, somebody has to step up and say, I'm not going to react to this. I'm going to take the high ground. And right now, you have amassed a body of data that you point to as justification. It's kind of like, I got her in writing, man. The high ground is finding a way to graciously de-escalate, graciously resolve the situation. He's going to marry her, right, whether you like it or whether you don't.
So I should just accept that he's a completely different person to me than he used to be, just overnight?
I guess so.
Is that normal?
You know, is it normal? I don't know. You just don't beat up each other's family.
Why couldn't they ever just go, oh, your mom, she's nuts, and move on?
Do?
Why do we have to ignore you? Why can't you just stop?
What can you do? What can you do to de-escalate this situation?
I don't know. What I tried to do was to just step out, step back, step away. And I've been backing off until the middle of May, when I told him, I think I just have to stay out of your life because I don't know what else to do.
You've been fuming.
No, not until I was uninvited. I wasn't fuming. I was hurt. I didn't know what else to do.
Call it hurt. You withdrew from the situation. Yeah. And that de-escalates it, but at a high price because you don't have any relationship.
I didn't know what else to do.
Well,
can I say one thing? When she says that, it's, well, I guess I just can't have anything to do with you. And it's snotty, and she goes on her own way.
How do you know? I was talking to him on the phone.
Because I heard you. Nothing gets better. It's, you're mad at me, I'm mad at you, we're not talking.
And how many times did you tell me not to contact you?
No, listen, I ain't listening to any more of this. I'm not going to listen to any more of this.
You said, what did I do? I can't do anything. They don't want me to contact them. What can I do?
Well, I'm not going to listen to any more bickering back and forth. What I'm going to tell you both is your conduct is not becoming to you. Your conduct in this is not becoming to you in any way. You have written things that a grown woman shouldn't write. You've said things a grown woman shouldn't say. This relationship, like so many relationships, needs a hero. It needs somebody that says, I'm gonna step up and do the right thing. I don't want you to accept or endorse bad behavior. I don't want you to accept or endorse bad behavior. And I am willing to bring in professionals to sit down with each of you individually or to get anything in the world to try to bring some peace and harmony to this. Right. You're not his mother that nurtures him from 3 years old anymore. You're now the mother of an adult male who is going to have his own family and his own life. You don't become less important, you just transition to another role. That's the important thing here.
But he needs to know that.
I know that. I wish he did. I know that.
I don't think he knows that.
You cannot be serious. That is your response out there. Everything I say, you want to point your finger across the aisle.
No, I'm not pointing
we'll be
my
right
finger.
Do you want to be a part of Dr. Phil's live studio audience? Call us at 323-461-PHIL or email us at drphil.com for free tickets.
Okay, is there any last comment that you would like to make?
I guess just, I want the magic fix. I want something to fix this.
Okay, what were you just saying to David at the break?
And I feel like that we've accomplished nothing.
Yeah, that you got absolutely nothing out of this.
Yeah, I mean, I know the wrong things I've done.
Well, let me say, that's something you and I can agree about at this point. I think you've gotten nothing out of this at this point. But I'll tell you what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to get you a tape of this show. And I want you to promise me something. Will you please sit down and watch everything that took place here by yourself? I want you to watch it really 5 times because I think you're going to see things that everybody else in this room sees at this point that can be helpful and instructive. And I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. I'm going to ask you to watch this show 5 times by yourself, not with Jay, not with your mom. And by the second or third time you watch it, you'll get some objectivity. It'll look like you're watching somebody else. And when that happens, I want you to really think thoughtfully about where things are. If you relate to this show today, or you have your own story about all these in-law things, you can go to drphil.com and have a discussion about this. Sometimes it helps to talk about it. We also have a lot of upcoming show topics that you might want to be tuned into or a part of, to be a guest on the show yourself. I mean, just look at our website and see, because this show is about you. We're going to follow this situation and see what happens. Thanks for being here. So long.